T-Rex or something?
You don't know who that is? The Joker. The Clown Prince of Crime. My former partner in madness. The Harlequin of hate. The Jester of genocide. You've never heard of him.
Oh, sounds like a dick.
And here we go.
It's the comic book bullies.
Man, you come right out of a comic book.
It's the comic book bullies.
You will run down before me!
It's the comic book bullies.
Now I am the master.
It's the comic book bullies. It's the comic book bullies. Welcome back to the Comic Book Bullies with Nerdist New Bully. I'm your host Leroy, aka the Rump Shaker, with my co-host.
This is Eli, aka Alligator Fuckhouse.
See, that's what happens when you get put on the spot. Yeah, and we're back with another episode, and yeah, we're just trucking along through June, and all kind of crazy stuff is happening. But here's the thing, Eli, guess what?
Yeah.
We are finally sort of kind of a little bit kind of back to normal as far as this podcast goes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because we've been doing all kind of we've been doing like, you know, retro reviews. We've been inviting people over and talking about comics back from the 70s and the 80s and the 2000s. But now the comic industry is trying to get back on its feet and actually release new comics this week. Not only did they release new comics this week, there's new comics we give a shit about this week. So that's why we decided to actually go back to normal. And like, do we have enough books to make a whole show? And it turns out we do. Plus a whole bunch of other bullshit that happened too. So like I said, still a lot of civil unrest going on right now. COVID-19 is at an all-time high. We get that. But when you come and listen to our podcast, listen to our show, we try to, you know, take your mind off the same thing about other stuff. Yes, it's fine for that to listen to 7 days a week to find out what's going on in current events, but take an hour out and relax yourself. So let us be your hallucinogen.
Or your disconnection.
Exactly.
Your
escapism.
Escape with us.
Yes, escape with us just for an hour or 3 hours or however long Eli wants to let this podcast go.
Yeah.
That being said, we do have to start this off with some sad news. And the sad news I'm going to start this off with is boom, because it is comic related.
Oh, that's right.
Rest in peace to Denny O'Neil. Now, a lot of times, you know, because like I said, he is a comic artist, and we do have to pay respect to comics artists when they pass. But with Denny O'Neil, it's different because Denny O'Neil is a legend, like in every sense of the word. It's so much things that he did to the comic book industry that could pretty much change. For instance, okay, I'm gonna tell you how big of a deal he is if you don't know who he is. Everybody loves Batman, right?
Sure.
Everybody listens to this podcast pretty much loves Batman. Now, everybody likes to give Frank Miller, you know, the credit. We always like to jump on Frank Miller's dick, you know, for reinventing Batman and modernizing him to the Dark Knight. It wasn't Frank Miller that did it. It was Denny O'Neil that did it. Now, what Frank Miller did was take Denny O'Neil's blueprint and take it to the next level. But Denny O'Neil was the person that, okay, you had the Batman 66 TV show where everybody was just, you know, the Batman 66 show. You know what it was.
Campy,
you know.
Bat-2C.
Yeah, Bat-2C. That's what everybody was doing on that show. So Denny O'Neil was the writer that took the show from the Batman 66 to the modernized Batman, where you had like a murderous Joker. You know, he reinvented Two-Face. All these characters that we recognize, those are the guys that, you know, he brought to the forefront.
Yeah, probably my first like experience with Batman in a comic book was his version.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I said,
because I'm that old. I'm old.
Like I said, I wasn't quite there, but like I said, one of those books that we were going to review, which was called The Five Nights of the Joker, where Batman fights a shark. He wrote that book. I mean, like I said, he's an awesome guy. Not only that, I'm gonna get to it. I'm jumping the gun. Because we're gonna go to. I did a poll, Eli, that people didn't know what I was doing. I was actually doing a poll on the top 5 creations of Denny O'Neil.
Yeah.
And some of the creations, like in the top 5, the list I made, one was Leslie Tompkins.
Okay.
Now, people may or may not know Leslie Tompkins. Yes, Leslie Thompson was the woman that helped raise him, just like Alfred. You may not recognize her, but you do recognize this. You know, when they sexied her up for Gotham. You know, Eli. Everybody gives Marvel shit for sexing up Aunt May. We know Marissa Tomei and stuff like that. Nobody gives DC shit for sexing up Leslie Tompkins. Maybe nobody watched the show. I don't know.
Nobody watched that show.
Nobody watched the show, so that's just me. Okay. Number 4 on the list that he did was also Batman's baby mama, Talia al Ghul.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the funny thing about it is that Talia al Ghul actually predates Ra's al Ghul. He met her first, and he also wrote the Son of the Demon story also. So technically, he may have, created Damian Wayne. The third on the list that he created was also the League of Assassins. Now, I know I took from the CW, but whatever. You may recognize them as the League of Shadows, if you will, if that's
from
what
the Nolan verse. Yeah.
From the Nolan verse, but they're called the League of Shadows. Funny thing about the League of Shadows, they predate Talia al Ghul and Ra's al Ghul. So we always talk about the hand, Daryl fights the hand, then try to fight the foot. The League of Shadows or the League of Assassins predate them about 2 decades. That's pretty. So Denny O'Neil did that. Also, number 2 on the list, Ra's al Ghul or Ra's al Ghul, depending on where you remember him from. He created him. The funny thing, let's talk about Talia al Ghul and Ra's al Ghul, because this is what Denny O'Neil was trying to do with Batman. He was trying to modernize Batman, so he was looking at what was popular at the time. What the most popular hero at the time, like in fiction, was James Bond. So Ra's al Ghul is a James Bond villain. That's all he is. The plots and schemes he does is just what any random James Bond villain does. Talia is a Bond girl. Basically, femme fatale. Sometimes she's in love with Batman. Sometimes she might turn on Batman. But the point is, it is. And also, because since Ra's al Ghul doesn't live in Gotham, it gives Batman a chance to, globe trot and hop around the world like James Bond did. So that's the things that he brought, Denny O'Neil brought to the Batman mythos that weren't there before. He wasn't another Joker or Riddler or anything like that. He wanted to bring, an eco-terrorist or somebody that, helped him out. And people have expanded that also, make him like a eco-terrorist or somebody maybe even trained at James Bond, So, and number 1, which I think, now this is not my favorite. This is what I posted in group, their favorite. Their favorite posted was, boom, John Stewart. So, like I said, he also wrote that Green Lantern, Green Arrow book for a while, which introduced John Stewart, and people say that was their favorite character that Denny O'Neil made. Can I do an honorable mention?
Go ahead.
Okay, this wasn't on the list, and I think it wasn't on the list because maybe I not put it there, people just forgot, but I did some digging. He made Bronze Tiger.
I thought that was on there.
It was on there? Yeah, maybe it didn't get picked. That's my favorite. So, yes, I'm cheating right there. The reason I wanted to put Bronze Tiger on there is because Bronze Tiger was Bronze Tiger was actually introduced not in a Batman book, but actually like in a Kung Fu type DC book he made called Richard Dragon. That's where Bronze Tiger, Lady Shiva is one of his creations. All those people like that, so they were fighting them. So when he became in the Batman books, Bronze Tiger was pretty much the very first person to beat the shit out of Batman. Never had him before. It was like, oh, and with one kick, just dropped him. So any book that Batman gets the shit beat out of him, I'm gonna read that. So yeah, that's the thing. Now, like I said, that's the characters he did. I'm not gonna do a whole list of like the influence and most influential books that he did. But you know how Comicsgate is, Eli always talking about how comic books are so woke now.
Yeah.
But
yeah. If he did the Green Lantern, Green Arrow run, yeah.
He did the Green Arrow one, where his sidekick got hooked on heroin. Yeah. And where Green Arrow was telling him, oh, you talk all this shit about how you're better than everybody, what you could do, but where Green Lantern talks to Green Arrow talking about how he's better than everybody, but his sidekick is hooked on smack. Which this has been a defining trait for Speedy or Roy Hopper ever since he's been in the comics. So it's just a thing that's just been there, So yeah, rest in peace to Denny O'Neil. That's something, Anything else you want to add on that before we move on from that?
No, you pretty much hit it, man. He was one of the big influential comic book writers, and rest in peace to a legend.
Right. And to be honest with you, we really just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's some other stuff that Denny O'Neil did that we can't just dig up, Denny O'Neil's stuff, Google him, Wikipedia, and just look at all the stuff that he's done.
He's he's right up there with Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, and
he really is. He changed, because the area he changed how comics were made around the time. And it kept going. Azrael, he made him. I can keep going, but I'm not.
Neil Adams, worked with Neil Adams, and who's still with us, and he just created a slew of legendary work that has gone, like you said, influential. There's nothing I can say that you hadn't already said.
Okay, well, sorry. I guess we can go on past that. So, Eli, like I said, I know we're in a new week, and I know we've been talking about Black Lives Matter for like the last 3 weeks, something like that. Now, before everybody turn off the podcast, I'm going somewhere with this. I'm about to give you some free shit. So, the reason I'm saying it, because have you noticed with the Black Lives Matter thing that a lot of businesses have been popping up, promoting stuff, and we're Black Lives Matter too, and check us out. They have banners. We talked about this last week, right?
I don't know, but okay, but hey,
we may or may not. We may or may not. Who cares? I forget shit that happened yesterday. So the point I'm trying to make is that I don't know how to feel about that, Eli, because I feel like these corporations are trying to capitalize or horn in on a movement and just trying to just piggyback off of for profit.
Yeah,
that's on one hand. That's on one hand. Yeah. But on the other hand, I'm getting a bunch of free shit. So I don't know how to feel about this. Like, should I, support the movement and be mad at these corporations for jumping into it? Or should I be happy that every time, it's a free movie coming out, it's a black person in the movie, it's free, I can watch it? Cool. Because here's the thing. Marvel has jumped on the bandwagon. We love Marvel here.
Okay.
To a point, and they jumped on the bandwagon, and what they've done is that they've also given away free comics. So I actually pulled the list up right now. Let's see if I can pull it up. Boom. Okay, we got it here. So what I'm pulling up is a list. I'm going to name all the books today right now. Now, if you go, Marvel.com has these books. You can read them for free. But if you go to Comixology, you can just download these books, and they're yours for life, or at least until Comixology and or Amazon go under, which they will outlive us. So that's not a big deal. Just to name some of the books. So the books they've listed are books that are, done by black creators, like Reggie Hudlin, Christopher Priest. Like I said, one of the books on there we reviewed like a few weeks ago. Blue Marvel is on there. It was done by the same guy that made the Underworld movies. Okay. Damage Control, Power Man and Iron Fist, Mosaic. Mosaic is a book that people didn't, really catch on to, but it was pretty good. I liked it. The entire run of Falcon is on there. Now, everybody's shipping this book. I think I gave it 6 issues before it got canceled. Eli, I think you gave it 8. It made it to 8 before it was canceled. But I thought it was actually a pretty good run. Also, Ironheart, Killmonger, Eli. Honestly, that was a book that when we were thinking about retro reviews to do, it was one of the books on my list that we should have knocked out. But whatever, things happen. So that's my whole point there. So they're giving you free books right now, so you definitely want to get on top of that. And matter of fact, what I'm going to do is,
that's not bad, as long as they're not doing like the Black Lives Matter burger or something like that. You know what I mean?
Don't put ideas in their head. Anyway, now with extra hot sauce or some shit. Like, no, don't do that. I'm trying to read. What do I have next on this thing? Oh, Eli. Okay, so we watched the movie.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. We
did. You watched the movie. You talked to me. Did we want to talk about this movie? I was like, yeah, we can talk about this movie. Yeah, why not? We talk about this movie. Okay. So the movie we talked about is Boom. You probably can't see it, but I'll go ahead and put it on it. Anyway, the movie we watched was called The Hunt. Now, Eli, what was your reason for waiting so long to watch this movie?
Because they wouldn't let us. There was only like to rent it.
Yeah.
It was like $20 to rent.
That's why I didn't watch it again, because I was like $20 to rent a movie for 48 hours. I can't do that. I'm not gonna do it.
Because I wanted to see it, and it was like, and then of course when it released, didn't it release like the weekend before when the quarantine hit? So
I don't think did it ever release?
Yeah, it was like that and Bloodshot were like released on that same weekend or something.
It was, and I had to make a choice. Do I want to watch Bloodshot or do I want to watch it? The only reason we did Bloodshot is because of this podcast.
It's a comic book movie, yeah.
Right, it's a comic movie, so you kind of gotta do it. It's like a
Yeah.
job to watch Bloodshot,
But this movie was supposed to be released like last year, but then it got banned because of
It got pushed back twice.
Yeah, because of some mass shooting, and they pushed it back, and then Trump got a hold of it and heard it was like anti-conservative or whatever, so then he banned it, and then it sat on the shelf for like a year.
Right.
And
then COVID happened.
COVID happened. So I was excited to see it, but then it was like $20 just to rent. I'm like, so that's why I waited. Yeah.
And that's what we were trying to tell people, like, calm down. Like, people were freaking out that they saw $20 to rent the movie when they want to get it. We were like, if you just wait, because I think it's been 90 days since it hit. Like, if you just wait 90 days, they're going to drop the price down to like $5. You can rent it. And it should be like every other movie on there. Yeah. Or you can even buy it if you want to do it. $20 to buy it, whichever one you want to do. Whichever you like. So that was going on right now. So Eli, since this movie was your idea, I'm gonna let you, start off first about what you thought about the movie and give your review and all that stuff.
Okay, so I'll quick synopsis. The Hunt. It's basically a group of people are like they're drugged and dosed, and they wake up in like the woods, and they're being hunted. And throughout the movie, you're finding out why they're being hunted. They're a group of conservatives, like right-wing conservatives, being hunted by left-wing liberals. That's basically kind of the story. And you kind of, things start unfolding. One chick who's like really badass is like killing everybody and surviving and killing the hunters. That's pretty much the gist of the movie. It's a lot of political commentary as far as, I think people were thinking it was going to have like this liberal agenda, and then of course the liberals thought it was going to have this right-wing agenda, but I think it was had more of a commentary about like cancel culture and like social media and stuff like that. I think that was more the prominent direction theme that was there.
Or even how media or social media can influence opinions of us, and make us think how they want to.
Yeah, the fake outrage, cancel culture, running, people telling you to be pissed off for something, and now you got to be pissed off because the internet told you to be pissed off. I think that was like the general theme of the movie.
Fake news.
News, yes. Yep. You have like these Republicans or conservatives. They're the bait. They're the victims in this scenario, and you find out that there was some conspiracy theory. It's got a total references to Pizzagate or Gamergate, and then they're being hunted by these liberals who are, these. But then that's not that, it's it turns out it's not really about any of that. There's like this sort of a twist at the end that sort of gives the movie a little bit of surprise, but it's really not about. I mean, it does bring up those left versus right commentary, but it's not really about that. In the end, it's more about the internet and internet outrage and social media outrage and cancel culture. Yeah. So, but as far as what I thought it was okay. I laughed a lot. I thought it was very funny. It's definitely a cynical satire, poking fun at both sides, both political parties, the internet. Very violent, very campy violence, which I was laughing. I thought it was very funny.
Okay. Let me ask you this, because we always have this argument. Was it at least violent enough for you?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, if you don't think this is violent enough, I don't know what to say after this.
Yeah, especially that first shot with what's her name? She's that famous actress. I thought she was going to survive a lot longer. She turned out to be the first one killed.
Yeah, we're not going to say the name because we don't want to spoil it. But when that happened, I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, and I busted out laughing. So it had that very dark humor. Very cartoony violence, and I thought it was funny. I just thought some of the characters were a little bit weak. I think that's my biggest gripe of the movie, especially the main character. I think she was like, I wish there was a little bit more to her. They just kind of made her, she's just badass. she's like killing everybody. She knows how to kick all this ass, shoot all these guns, and they're just, oh, well, she's an ex-veteran from
But
whatever.
they don't say that till like 20
Yeah.
minutes before the movie is over.
Yeah, they don't tell you that. Yeah, they don't tell. They don't reveal that till the end of the movie. And even that, for me, I thought was a little weak. I thought it was. I was thinking it was going to be like this big, fucked up, twisting reveal. You know what I mean? That's just me because I'm an asshole. Because you're kind of rooting for her through the whole movie. You know, she's kicking all this ass, and I thought wouldn't have been cool if she was like, it revealed at the end that she was a cop at the end. You know,
right?
A cop that shot somebody. You know, and that's why they were after her. And I was like, well, then you would have been like, oh shit, we're rooting for this asshole, and you know what I mean? I thought that would have been pretty cool, but that didn't happen, of course. So in the end, I thought she was just kind of a weak character. She's just this badass who can kick all this ass just because some vague reason, and that was about it. So that's my only gripe. Other than that, I still had a good time. I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was funny, and yeah. So 3 out of 5.
Okay, no problem. All right, so like I said, I watched this movie. Pretty much the same thing that you were saying about it. I thought the movie was funny in what I thought it was going to be. I really don't know how to classify this movie. Like, Eli, is it a slasher movie or does it have? I'm not saying it's a horror movie, but does it like rely on horror tropes on it at least?
A little bit. There's like, and I don't know what to call it, but like lately, the last few years, there's I don't know if you want to call it reality horror, but there's like these movies that have horror elements, but they're not traditionally horror. Like, like this movie, like The Green Room about the skinheads. It's basically zombies, only they're skinheads instead.
Right.
You know, there's movies like The Purge, or there's this one movie called Carnage Park. It's about a sniper. You know, it's like a slasher movie, only he's a sniper. So it's like these, you know, or what's that? Don't Breathe, where they break into that blind guy's house, and it turns out he's a fucked up blind. He's basically Daredevil. You know, if Daredevil was a serial killer,
he can smell their fear and
shit. Yeah. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they're not traditionally horror or slasher, but they have horror elements. But there's like this gritty reality, you know, to them. And I think that this movie kind of falls into that sort of, you know,
but it's like, it was almost like a action movie also.
Yeah.
Like it was balanced between genre. It was satire, parody, all those things. Like you said, it did, you know, cancel culture was one of the main themes of the movie that I did get from that one. You couldn't tell if they was making fun of liberals or making fun of the right wing, and they probably were making fun of both. Like, because basically they were making fun of both because both were at the extreme. The thing is that they didn't say a whole lot about the people that got captured. They didn't say a whole lot about them. But the stuff they said, you realize that, okay, these people are assholes. I think one of those guys they captured in the KKK. But they didn't flat out say it, but I think that was one of them, you know. So they didn't dig into him. Like, one of them was a white rapper, so that's why he's there, you know, to kill him, you know.
Yeah,
so,
there's that one guy he was like basically like the Alex Jones. He had a podcast, conspiracy theories and stuff. So you can just tell that they're making fun of all these real life political figures, and you know, and then killing them.
Right. and then like the story about how she was telling the tortoise in the hair. Now she went into so much detail about the story. Like, do people not know that story? You know. Yeah. But then she added some more bullshit at the end of it. I was like, okay, I guess. You know. But yeah, like I said, bloody as hell. Nobody would say the people that you think, you know, I almost wish I went into this movie not knowing anything.
Yeah.
Because watching the trailer kind of gave away too much, where you knew that the blonde chick was going to be the hero at the end, and you knew Hilary Swank. But the thing is that they set it up where you didn't know, like they didn't show Hilary Swank's face until like 30 minutes before the movie ended. You know, so I guess they wanted it to be a surprise that you didn't know who it was, and when you finally see her, you'd be like, "Oh shit, she's in this movie." You know, but since they showed her on the trailer, you're just like, "Oh, okay, when are they going to show her?" You know,
And it was, they kind of, and they sort of alluded to Pizzagate or Gamergate or whatever, these right-wing conspiracies that turn out to be bullshit, but then they kind of flipped it on its head. Like, okay, since they think this is really happening, then we're really going to make it happen.
Right. That's another thing that got me about that, because, that's because the thing, I hate to spoil it. We're gonna say a spoiler on it. The point is that they were making up a conspiracy theory about what they thought was going on.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even true. Because that's what the internet does. The internet just makes up it's flat earth. Jay-Z and Beyonce are with the Illuminati. Pretty much anytime a celebrity has a death in the family, people just say, oh, they sacrificed themselves to be famous. Bullshit like that.
Yeah.
So since you want to believe it so much, we're gonna make this shit real for you.
And their only evidence is some vague piece of whatever. Like in the movie, it was like a text. They found a text.
Right. And that's the thing. They weren't mad about that, they were joking about that the conspiracy might be true. She got in trouble because she called them deplorables because she used a slur or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah. And that's
I thought that was interesting too.
Yeah, and then the internet, right? Yeah, basically the internet takes it and it turns into this whole thing that it's not because it's the internet, and people, want to believe what they want to believe. That's basically the comment of the story of the movie is people will sort of just believe in their own. They'll use anything on the internet to back up their beliefs, no matter how
if it's on the internet, it must be true.
Yeah, they don't want to admit that they're wrong, or there's no growth, there's no understanding. It's just like, oh, this is my view, and I'm not going to back down, and we're just trolling each other. We're just going back and forth. There's no common ground to be had because we back up. We choose what facts to believe in to back up our bullshit.
Right. And the thing is, going by the internet and just assuming they know things about it, both sides got both people wrong. Like she got some things wrong by Hillary Swank. Hillary Swank got some things wrong by her just because she believed, like when she knew what Animal Farm was, she was like, wait, you're smart enough to know what Animal Farm is? And she knew it better than she did. And
it turns out she had spoilers, she had the wrong person and stuff.
Right.
Like, you posted this and
she's like, I get her mails out, which happened. Like you can't. Basically, the movie is trying to say you can't believe everything you see on the internet.
Basically,
and liberals are just as fucked up as Republicans are. Also.
Oh yeah, there's the left wing version of the what are they called? The Baptist Church. What's that Baptist church called? Jonesboro, or what's it called? What's those? They're always protesting funerals and shit. And what the hell are they called? I forget. Haven't heard from them in a while, so that's kind of weird.
Especially during this time, they're probably saying the apocalypse is
Westboro Baptist Church. Was that what they're called? Yeah. Anyways, we have left extremists, and and of course we got the right wing extremists too. That'll the conspiracy theorists who believe who believe all this shit, all these conspiracies, except the truth, that the government
is a hoax.
The government is capable of these grand April Fool's jokes.
Not even like our government, the world government, like every government on the planet is in on the hoax.
Yeah, we can't get nurses masks, face masks for the hospitals, but we can orchestrate this 9/11.
You're right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Don't believe, the people with PhDs and been studying this shit for 10 years. Believe some asshole on the internet with the $500, dollar worth of equipment,
Yeah. All those scientists that know the fucking earth is round ain't right.
Right.
But
trust me, we know from experience, just because a podcaster say some dumb shit doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah, that's why we don't do politics. I don't talk about politics.
We try to stay away from politics, and we try to stay away from rumors. Fuck rumors. If it's not confirmed, or somebody says it, if it's just some shit that may or may not be true, like Beyonce is gonna be stormed, we don't touch that shit. We move on to other stuff. So I don't know. Oh, Slaps Corner. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. Reason I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 and not higher than that or not lower than that, because like I said, it was entertaining. I do want to see it again. I do feel like the message they were trying to give was kind of muddled. Like it didn't. I feel like I missed something watching the movie. Like I feel like it was another thing that they were trying to tell me that I didn't catch. So that's why I'm gonna just give it like a 4. But entertaining movie. I liked it. I think it is like a polarizing movie. I know some other people that I was talking to didn't care for this movie. But hey, what can you do? Wait, Eli, hold on. We got something. We got a bunch of shit.
We got
You got to read that. What do we got so far?
Because who you guys talking to?
We have no idea.
I'm talking to him. Or wait,
Right.
him. I'm talking to that guy. It's the Brady Bunch.
He did
what's
it.
Waving the lead.
Right.
It's the Brady Bunch and shit.
Is this the same guy? Let's see. Wakanda Forever. Okay.
Wakanda Forever.
Cool.
Wakanda Forever. Wakanda Forever. All right. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Yeah. Appreciate you. Yeah. What else we got? Okay. So, like I said, 45. Let's move on past that. Can we move on to the video game section?
Okay.
All right. So, Eli, some big shit happened this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna unveil it. Hold on. Just boom.
Oh yeah,
Look
that
at
did happen.
Sexy ass beast right there. So this is the PlayStation 5. They were going to release it last week, but because, like I said, riots were ensuing all over the country, they were like, maybe it's a bad time, So they decided to push it back a little bit. Yeah, hold on. You know what it looks like anyway.
Damn it, you looters! You couldn't wait like a few days.
Just a few days. We're trying to watch the PlayStation 5, and you couldn't control yourself.
Then you would have saw me looting.
Right.
I would have texted, hey, anybody down in university, get me a PS5. I got you.
Right. Just wait for it. Well, you know what? They're waiting for the next. If something happens in November, everybody's gonna have a free PS5. Oh, man. So basically, what's going on with the PS5 right now? Eli, did you get a chance to watch the PlayStation 5 event, the whole thing?
No, I just saw like the pictures.
Okay. Well, I watched the entire event. It was a weird event. Because usually they have a guy on stage in front of a crowd like that, but like I said, we live in a post-COVID world. That didn't happen. So it was just a pre-recorded thing. So just some guy talking with elevator music playing in the background. So that's all you can get from there. They unveiled it, showed what it looked like, showed some of the games. What I'm so excited over? They showed Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Oh yeah, Miles Morales.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. People were freaking out because the guy came out and said, oh, it's an expansion. So people thought it was going to just be like DLC. But he said, no, it's going to be a full game. Now, Sony has done this before. They did it with Infamous. They did it with a game called First Light. It was like a standalone game. They did it with Uncharted, which was called, I can't remember the name of the game. But they did it with Uncharted also, like made a standalone version of it where it wasn't DLC. It was a separate game. They did it with The Last of Us, like it was a separate game. So basically, that's what they're doing with Miles Morales also right now. Also, it's a standalone game. They said it probably won't be as long, or they actually confirmed it won't be as long as the other Spider-Man game was. This kind of like a go-between while they're still working on Spider-Man 2. So I'm fine with that. I'm excited. And Eli, they announced everything except the price. What the fuck is the price of this thing? How much is this bad boy going to cost me?
Yeah.
So I don't know. We're hearing all kind of. I even went to, because it's on Best Buy site. It's on Walmart site right now. They have it, but no price. So
what do you think?
What do I think? Now here's the thing. Let me pull it one more time. So what you see, I don't know if you can see it, but there's two versions of the PlayStation 5 they have. They didn't really realize the price for any of them. One has a disc drive, one doesn't have a disc drive. Now, what I'm thinking is that the one without the disc drive, maybe 500. I'm thinking this thing's gonna be no less than 500. This is gonna tax. This is not Nintendo Switch where you just pay $250 and get it. No, ain't gonna be that. Not with all the shit that they said they're throwing in this bad boy. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking 500 for the non-disc version and 600 for the disc version. That's what I'm thinking. Now, some people are saying that it might be like 700, stuff like that. I don't know. All I know, Eli, whatever they have is they need to let me know ahead of time so I can start stacking money. So, like I said, if you see me, creating an OnlyFans page, to make money on the side to get a PlayStation 5, don't judge me, So
yeah, I don't know if I want to play Miles Morales that bad.
I wish I could show that picture. Since it's Pride Month, I saw this picture of this black kid with this old white dude standing behind him, unbuckling his belt. He was like, "Time to secure the PS5." I'm like, "Oh, come on, man." I don't have the meme in front of me right now, but it's whatever. So yeah, that's what's going on right now. So think
and it ain't gonna come with all the cords. The cord you need those cords.
That shit, you get all that.
$20 for a cord.
Yeah, another controller, all this stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, this is gonna be expensive, but I gotta show it one time. I gotta show it one time. Look how sexy this thing looks, man. That's the thing I like about Sony. They know how to make sexy machines. That's the thing. PlayStations always have sex appeal. Meanwhile, while Xbox, whenever they make their system, they got to get by on their personality. You know, I got an Xbox One S. I can show you just like a big ass block. That's all it is. You can't do shit with that. You know, so that's my thing.
Yeah, gonna have to paint your apartment. Put that in there.
Right.
redecorate for your PS5.
Right, for the PS5, because it's white, man. Because that's the thing, if it's a white machine, it's gonna get dirty. It's gonna get dirty like super quick. You know, fingerprints all over it. Give me the black machine so I can easily wipe down all stuff like that. So we're guys. We mess up shit. You know. Oh shit. Let me see. Can we move on to, I guess, the comic book section now?
Sure.
Yeah, let's just fly through this thing. So if you for those that are listening to this podcast that are new to it, this is the part where the comic bullies talk about the comic books. And we're going to talk about finally new comics that came out this week. And Eli, I'm going to start first. I'm going to just jump into Batman 92. Let's jump into Batman 92. Let's see if I can get like a banner on the back of that bad boy. Okay, there we go. So basically how the book starts off is that the Penguin, now if you've been keeping up with the story, the Penguin got his throat slit by Deathstroke, but it was just enough that it didn't quite kill him or cripple his vocal cords either, because he still talks stuff like that. So he's in, Gotham City talking to Commissioner Bullock, who's the new Commissioner Gordon, and basically Bullock is like, we got you, Penguin. You're arrested. You're going to jail. He's like, no, I'm not going to jail. They kidnapped me. I'm the one that got harassed. Matter of fact, all of my top employees, shit like that, Deathstroke killed them. Actually, he didn't. Penguin killed them, but that's not a story. So, and he was like, matter of fact, I want to bring charges up on Deathstroke because I'm a law-abiding Gotham citizen. And Bullock know he's full of shit, but there's nothing he can do, So he was just like, you know what? I'm going to find something on you eventually, Penguin. But while all this shit is going on, the entire city turns green. And when the entire city turns green, Bullock is like, give me a TV. He's like, what do we need TV for? Because whenever the city turns green, some asshole's going to be on TV because they always want somebody to know what the hell's going on. So turn on the TV. Let's see what's going on. And he had to turn the TV because, boom, the Riddler has taken over the entire city. And he's turned everything green, and he's got every single TV station and Megatron and everything in Gotham City is taken over. And he wants to play a game because he's on that saw shit now. So he's like, I want to play a game of crosswords, and I have the grid, the whole city as a grid, and I want one person to play the game. Who should it be? Who should it be? Who should it be? How about Batman? So of course, Batman is gonna be the main person playing the game. Batman just beat up some zombie ninja cops with Deathstroke. Let me show you that part right there. So they're just beat up some cops. Now, while that's going on, they go downstairs to the subway, and Batman has a bat train. I don't know if there's ever been a thing before, but I guess that's what Tinian likes to do, just create shit. But that's what's happening. That's going on. That's the A story. The B story is Harley Quinn and Catwoman are going down, and I think this is where they're robbing Bruce Wayne. They don't really say what they're doing, but I think they're going to rob Bruce Wayne or stop people from robbing Bruce Wayne. So they finally get down there, and when they get there, they meet Punchline for the first time. I'm seeing if I can find that page and Harley Quinn's just like, okay, who are you? Why are you dressed like this? What the hell's going on? And Catwoman got to whisper to her, that's Joker's girlfriend, new girlfriend. And she's like, oh, so it didn't even click to her what was going on, or Harley just being an asshole. Let me see if I can show you the page. You all are jokes, and I am the punchline. So she's punchline. So she actually does something. We actually see what she looks like, and we find out what her personality is. She doesn't tell jokes. She doesn't do silly gags and shit like that, like Harley Quinn and Joker does. She just kills people. That's all she does. So Harley Quinn and Punchline fight it over while she's doing that. Catwoman basically takes the guy that's trying to get the bank, and they go in to get the bank. While that's going on, Batman is breaking down Riddler's riddles and shit like that, like super easy. What do you lose when you take one step, a footstep? How many seconds in a year? 12, 1 second for every month, some shit like that. Anyway, he solves the problem. He like, Riddler, I'm gonna cut to the chase. The left is banana, the right is button. This shit is over with. He's like, fuck you, Batman. I'm gonna find out where you're, Batman, and reveal you as a cheater. And he's like, "You hear me, Batman?" And Batman standing right behind him. He's like, "Yeah, I hear you." And beats the shit out of Riddler. While he beats the shit out of Riddler, you hear a clap in the background, and it turns around and it's Designer. And Designer's like, "I'm glad you made it this far, Bruce," because he knows who he is. He was like, "While that's all going on, sit down and have a seat, and I'll tell you exactly what my design is right before I kill you." And that's the end of the book. Now, keep in mind, this is issue number 92. Issue 95 starts Joker War, where it's the ultimate battle between Joker and Batman again, because we need one of those every 3 years, whatever. So, yeah. Overall, fun, action-packed book. This is like a classic. Like, if you never read a Batman book before, you can pick this Batman book up and just read it. It's not very dense, not very Tom King-ish. You can just jump in, and that's it. Overall, I'm going to give the book a 4 out of 5. You know, right. Because we finally get Punchline doing something. We were seeing her, but she never did anything. So, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I'll give it a 3 out of 5 just because there was a lot going on. You know what I mean? Just a lot going on.
Like I said, A story, B story. Yeah.
And it might be because I read the Joker book before this. So by the time I got to this book.
Now, you didn't read them like back to back, did you?
No, I read this like the next day, and I was like a little fatigued. I'm a little Joker fatigued.
Okay, yeah.
And then so like I'm really not excited about this Joker war coming up now.
I mean, because we've seen it over and over and over again.
Yeah,
and it seems like they're doing it. What can you do differently that hasn't been done already?
Like, I liked the Riddler stuff. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And honestly, that's why I gave it a higher score than I did, because you finally see the Riddler do stuff, and the Riddler's kind of like a forgotten villain nowadays.
I thought that was a lot of fun. I really don't really care about Punchline. I think she's just dollar store Harley, you know.
Well, the speculators love it. That's the thing.
Yeah, and I'm like, whatever. Another Harley Quinn. Just Harley Quinn 2, whatever.
Yeah, like, they think they're gonna strike oil again. Like, oh, another Harley Quinn. Let's go ahead and buy this, because if I bought Harley when she first introduced, then I'd have all this money. So they thinking Punchline's gonna do the same thing. It won't, but whatever.
So it's all right.
All right. So you're up. What do you got?
Well, I got all I got was the indie books. So I guess I'll go with Bitterroot number 8.
Bitterroot number 8. Okay.
Okay.
You go ahead. I'll go ahead and get you set up for it. Boom. Look at that.
Oh, okay. Bitterroot number 8. Written by David F. Walker, Chuck Brown, art by Sanford Green, Sophie Dodson, and letters by Clayton Claus or something. Sorry, I'm messing that up. But this is one of my favorite books right now. It's a horror book about this family in 1920s Harlem, and they fight they're like these monster hunters that fight these demons called Jinnu that possess people. They kind of feed off of hatred. And, you know, with racial bigotry prominent in our culture, there's plenty of hate to feed off of. So it's got this sort of, social commentary on racism. And basically, this is picking up after, this is like, we're on the second arc now. So this is number 8. In the first story arc, there was like this big race riot in Harlem, and people were getting possessed by demons and all that. There's this big battle and stuff like that. We have there's this one dude named Dr. Sylvester. His children were killed in the Tulsa massacre of 1921, so he's just out for revenge. Mm-hmm. He unknowingly unlocks this demon called an Adro, and he's sort of being influenced by this demon because of his grief. This demon feeds off of grief. She takes him to Georgia, where this young black boy has been lynched by the KKK, and the demon promises the townspeople that she will give them salvation. She will save them from their grief. So that's kind of where this picks up. We're back in Harlem after the riot. They're trying to cure this family. The Sangria family are trying to cure the people that have been infected with the demons, but they're finding out that there's different demons. Like, the black people aren't infected by the Jinnu. They're infected by these other demons. What are they called? Inzandu, something like that. They're infected by these other demons that feed off of pain and grief and suffering. Meanwhile, Dr. Sylvester is in Georgia. He's kind of questioning the motivations of this demon this demon, resurrected the boy that got hanged. And the father's like, this isn't my boy. His soul is gone. He's just basically a zombie, this kid. And Dr. Sylvester is sort of starting to realize that this demon isn't what it's cracked up to be. She promised us salvation, but you're just basically, this salvation is just more suffering, And then another group of demon hunters, they're on this other mission. They're searching for these other demons, and they get ambushed by these rednecks in the south. So that's kind of where it ends. That's kind of the book, but still a very cool book, very powerful, emotional comment on racism and how we deal with racism. The emotional effects of racism. How and it asks these questions of how do we reconcile with the trauma caused by racism, especially people of color, the stress and emotional toll that we feel from dealing with racism on a daily basis. No wonder we all got high blood pressure. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We experience racism all the time, but we have to set those emotions aside. We have to set our anger and our sadness aside to get through the day, so we don't make people
right, because you get just snap on anybody, just follows you around the store.
Yeah. We just kind of, when keeping it real goes wrong,
right.
we just hold on to this pain and this anger and sadness like constantly because we don't want to make waves until it builds and builds, and then it erupts and there's riots and all this stuff. And
right.
Yeah, and I'm talking about the comic book.
Right. So glad it's just science fiction. This
is just the comic book. Yeah, right. Racism built up for years and years, and then it explodes, and people lose their shit and start tearing up the place in the comic book.
Right.
But we see the parallels in real life, and that's what the thing I love about this book is. This book could have been released like 20 years ago. And it would still be relevant. You know what I mean? Because the shit just doesn't change. 30 years ago, 40 years ago, this story could have been told, 50 years ago, and it would have still made just as much impact as it does today. So sad but true. But other than that, I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5 because there was a lot going on. There's like 3 or 4 different arcs kind of crammed into this one issue. But other than that, it's still a great story. It's one of my favorite books right now.
Now let me ask you this. Okay, so you're on issue 8 of Bitterroot right now. So this is not like a volume 2, volume 3. It's just 8 issues and that's it right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure once they get to issue 12, that'll be volume 2. You know what I mean? Because volume 1 is like 1 through 6, I think, or 1 through 5 or something like that. So.
Gotcha.
Something like that. So it's the second volume isn't collected yet, isn't in a trade.
That's what I'm trying. That's what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting on trade.
Yeah.
So that's what, because I know eventually there's going to be option into a movie, a TV show, cartoons, some shit like that. And anytime something like that happens,
and it is what's his face? Black Panther. What's his name? The guy who directed Black Panther. Yeah. He got the rights to this.
Okay, so that's in the pipeline. So
yeah.
So the thing is, Eli, a black comic book, I'm supposed to be the expert on this shit. So
I only picked this up because it's a horror book.
Okay.
I like, it's basically Evil Dead, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you know what I mean? These demon hunters. It's just pumped with all this commentary. It has underlying commentary, and that's just. Like I said before, when diversity matters, when you get that, real representation in art, then you get that different perspective. So of course, a person of horror from a person of color's perspective, excuse me, is going to be different. You're not going to, the cops aren't going to be the saviors in this book.
Right.
In fact, in volume 1, spoilers, the cops got possessed by the demons, and they had to fight the cops. So, you get that different perspective, and that's what keeps genres fresh, and that's what I loved about this book. So I I came for the horror and I stayed for the,
I mean, it seemed like it's in the same vein as what we're seeing in horror moving to now, where they're leaning into the social commentary, like Get Out, hell, like The Hunt. Even though The Hunt's not a horror movie, but The Purge, things like that.
The Purge. Yes, The Purge. The first one sucks. Don't watch the first.
You know what? That's the only one I've watched, and I was just like, it's good in concept, but
it's all about the white family, the white suburban family stuck in their white suburban home. We don't give a shit. The rest of the movies, they open up the world. We go out into the cities. Shit, the last ones took place in Staten Island. That's black horror to me. Person of color horror. You're seeing horror from a person of color perspective.
Was it something about that story was like in like it's a prequel and they started the Purge, like get rid of black people or something?
Yeah, the first Purge. Yeah, that's what the first Purge was. The last Purge movie was a prequel about the first time they did it, and they tried it out in Staten Island in the black community.
Okay.
Like that, that was the test.
So one of these days I'm gonna sit down, marathon the whole Purge, but I got to make it through that first one because I was like, the first one was rough.
Yeah. And to everybody, if you haven't seen the Purge movies, skip the first one because it sucks.
So I can just skip it, like don't watch it all.
Just don't watch it. Don't watch it.
Oh shit! Why didn't you tell me that? I would have done this a while ago.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So back on me. All right. So what we're gonna do is boom. Let's set the banner up. So we're gonna talk about. I guess the book of the week, because this is the book that we've been talking about. Oh, smile, smile, Eli, because this is going to be the banner or whatever that we might do.
Why so serious?
Yeah. So this is the book we've been planning to do for a while. Matter of fact, we were going to make this a whole show before COVID hit, so we had to makeshift another Joker something going on. That's why we did Death of the Family. But basically, what we have here is the Joker 80th special. With the Harley Quinn of hate, the Jester of genocide, the Clown Prince of crime, whatever you want to call him. This is him. Joker was conceptualized 80 years ago in Batman #1 in 1940. Yeah, 1940. Yeah, my math's off. Also Catwoman too, but nobody gives a shit. So I guess we can start off. So I'm not gonna break down every book. There were 10 books in here. The stories were hit or miss. I'm going to see if I can just look and see which stories kind of just jumped out at me, stand at me, and just focus on those. One story that did focus on, like I said, we just talked about Punchline a second ago, and this book actually gives like the origin of Punchline, like where she came from, what is she a thing of? Let me just show you right here. So even though when you you see what Punchline looks like originally, she was just a college girl in Snyder University. Now, since Tinian worships the ground, Scott Snyder walks on. Of course, you're going to name the college Snyder University. Oh. So that's where she is.
Good thing it wasn't Zack Snyder.
we do not acknowledge Zack Snyder. So yes, that's the thing going on right now. So the thing is that her roommate got brothers, co-workers got gassed by the Joker, and everybody in the city, in the college, supposed to, in mourning right now because what happened. Because she went on this social media, her roommate went on the social media thing about how she feels so sad about these guys and she cares about them. So she got this movement going on where everybody in the city, in the college, decided to, dress up like their favorite hero. And she dressed, and Punchline decided to dress up like the Joker. Now her name is Alexis. We don't know her last name, but her name is Alexis in this. And the dean talked to her directly, like, can you change or something? Like, everybody's dressing up like Superman and Wonder Woman. You dress like the Joker. You're freaking people the fuck out, and she kills him, basically. Yeah. And the reason she killed him is because it's basically like a training for the Joker, because the Joker was hiding in the closet the entire time while she was doing this stuff. And
she made the Joker gas, the toxin.
That she got recipe from the internet. But of course she said she was practicing on homeless bums under the pier or whatever, and she was trying to prove to the Joker that she's not some fangirl. She's ready for the big time. She's ready for the big show. And Joker's like, well, okay, well, let's go. And then it says go to issue 95 of Batman when the Joker War starts. Whenever that thing happens. Let me see if another story on here that I liked. I think another story on here that I liked was the Harley Quinn story, because Paul Dini has a story on here. No, actually, I'm gonna go to another one. Kill the Batman. Now, here's the thing about this story, Eli. This actually jumped out at me because the Kill the Batman story was actually written by 2 YouTubers. They don't even work for Marvel. I mean, they don't even work for DC. They're just Batman fans that just submit a story. So basically, what this story is basically like Joker finally killed the Batman, and he goes to Batman's funeral, and of course, everybody, yeah, and you know, Superman says some shit at the funeral. Wonder Woman says shit, and Joker's like, "Hold up, now we're both 2 psychopaths. At least I understand I'm a psychopath. Batman didn't see it. We both dress up in, you know, theatrical costumes, you know, to incite fear in other people. But while they're scared of me, they throw this guy a ticker tape parade. Didn't make any sense. So Mr. Freeze is there talking at this funeral. He even tells like an ice joke. Everybody laughs in the crowd. Joker's like, an ice joke? Like, even I wouldn't say no dumb shit like that. And I'm the worst comedian in the world, you know. So Joker starts getting depressed. He's just like, well, what can I do now? I killed Batman. I can't, you know, fight the Gotham PD. They're more corrupt than I am. You know, I don't feel like fighting Batman and Wonder Woman. That shit's boring. But they're not as fun because they don't get the joke. Batman got me. They don't get me. So I guess I'm going to just do the other evilest shit I can think of. And he decides to work at the DMV. And that's how the story ends, which I thought was pretty funny. You know?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. That was one of the ones I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, so I'm trying to see what was the other one. Matter of fact, if you want to look at the guy's name is Greg Miller. He used to work for IGN. I think he went to another place, anything like that. I thought that's a pretty good story. What else we got? Where's the other story that I was looking for? The other one was the Paul Dini story. The Paul Dini story is pretty good also, where this is a flashback story where Harley Quinn and Joker still together, and Joker is telling Harley about his worst nightmare. His worst nightmare is that he's in Blackgate prison because his insanity plea doesn't work anymore to go to Arkham. So they put him in Blackgate. They give him the death penalty. And right before he dies, he sees Batman in the audience and Batman is laughing at him. So that's his worst fear. And at that moment, Harley Quinn is talking to Poison Ivy, and Poison Ivy's like, so is that why you stayed with him the whole time? She's like, no, that's why I left him. Because of that story he told the whole time, Batman's in it. All his enemies are in it, but I'm not in it. Yeah. So I thought it was a pretty good story, especially since, you know, Paul Dini, you know, created Harley Quinn. So I thought it was a pretty good story. What's another one? I don't have it. The one about the bank teller when he killed everybody and told them I was serious is pretty cool. Other than that, that's the main ones I can think of, Eli. That's the main ones, unless there's another one that I can't think. Some of those stories were like weird as fuck. I'm gonna tell you, like Brian Azzarello. I'm sick of this dude. I'm sick of anything.
Not the one at the end.
The one at the end. It didn't make any fucking sense.
That's the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
I've never seen the movie.
Oh, that's your sequel. If they're gonna make a Joker sequel, that's it.
Okay, please tell me what the fuck happened in that story. Not One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. One Flew Over the whatever the fuck's nest in this story.
It's basically, you know, the Joker's in. I'm trying to get to it. I got my fucking.
Like he's in Arkham, you know.
He's in Arkham. And he's basically trying to take control, lead the fucking like in that movie. He tries to get the inmates together and lead and sort of, you know, bond with the inmates. And that's kind of, I was getting that through the whole thing. And then he gets lobotomized. Mm-hmm. You know, which happens.
So does that happen to Jack Nicholson?
Yeah, that happens to Jack Nicholson, and then Batman shows up in there, and Batman's supposed to be Chief, the Indian guy. I didn't know what Batman was like really in there. Was he imagining him, or was it a guy dressed as Batman, or was Batman in there? I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Yeah, the Batman's in there with them, and he's crazy too. And then he ends up escaping. He takes the Superman statue in the movie. It's like a water fountain. Okay, and then that Chief shit made no. Yeah. I'm glad you're breaking this shit down to me. I'm like, what the fuck is the Superman statue there for? Yeah, and he throws it out the window, and the movie ends with Chief, the Indian guy, escaping the asylum, running off, and because Jack Nicholson's character got lobotomized, and he was like a vegetable, and so Chief escapes. And Chief never talked until he always played a mute, but it turned out he didn't know how to talk the whole time. But that's a great idea. Like, I thought the story was just but I was like, there's your sequel to the movie. You know, that's your Joker sequel. That's your Joker sequel. So who directed One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? Milos Forman. He did like he made that movie with Jim Carrey about Andy Kaufman. He makes like these I think he made Amadeus. I think he's the one who did Amadeus.
Oh, really? I think I think remember, yeah.
Oscar winning director. So but no, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is a great flick. And like, you got the first Joker movie, which is, Taxi Driver and King of Comedy with the Joker in it. There's your sequel. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with the Joker and Arkham villains.
I'm so glad you're here to break that shit down to me, because I was just like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. But I think the ones that I enjoyed, probably my favorite one, I think it might have been the Tom Taylor one, where
I just had that pulled up. I was just about to talk about the Tom Taylor one. Yeah.
Yeah, with the kid's birthday. He goes to that kid's birthday and no one's there, and he ends up going and at gunpoint makes all these people go to this kid's birthday.
Bring your best toys, And it turns out that the boy, his father was one of his goons,
Yeah, who ditched out, and he was there to kill the guy. Mm-hmm. But then he saw the kid outside playing he's like pulling the legs off all these bugs. And he's like, why don't you kill him? He's like, oh, I only kill the ones that try to escape. He's like, that's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
So he ends up like cutting off his dad's fingers and serves them as hot dogs and shit. So that one was probably my favorite. I thought the Scott Snyder one was pretty good because that had a horror element, a creepy horror element. That's how Scott Snyder writes the Joker. He's like a slasher villain.
Right.
I enjoyed the Paul Dini one. I thought that was all right. And I think the Tinian one with the weird art I thought was pretty cool too.
So that one Tinian. That was Tomasi.
Was that Tomasi? Yeah.
Tomasi.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to read that one twice. I didn't like that one either at first, but that one I did catch. Eventually, basically was saying like Joker and Batman, the more they fight each other, the more they're becoming each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I thought that's pretty deep. Especially the art was pretty awesome. And then you had basically like their greatest fights, like each page, like the Killing Joke, Funhouse Mirror, the dolls that were fighting him. What else?
Yeah, there it is. Is that it? Yeah.
I'm gonna blow you up unless you can see it. Okay. Can you see it? I mean, you can show it.
Yeah. I got. There's like whoops.
That one. Yeah.
There's like the Killing Joke and
So
but that last panel where it's like the Joker in the Batman suit and shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because basically we're saying like the more they learn each other, the more they're becoming each other. Yeah. But you can almost say like that's the Batman who laughs or whatever, So
yeah, just weird. But yeah, I was pretty exhausted by the time I was done. I don't know. I think I'm a little jokered out, especially after the movie.
Well, that's why, because I saw 100 pages, I was like, let me pace myself. So I took the whole day, read it, went and got something to eat, read it, ran some errands, read it. It wasn't just one sitting, because that shit would have drove me crazy.
Yeah, and just hearing, and that's why by the time I got to the Batman book, and then the Punchline came up.
Yeah.
And okay, it's
like,
just
this bitch again.
Harley and this chick talking about their glorious insanity,
mm-hmm.
whatever. How crazy we are, and that's the thing why I can't stand serial killers. Like I'm not a, I know some people think serial killers are fascinating. I think they're a bunch of assholes, and I don't give a shit.
I mean, but to be sociopathic is like one of their prime traits,
Yeah, and just hearing these characters talk about how crazy they are and all that shit. I was just like, okay, yeah.
That's when you checked out.
Yeah. So by the time I got to the Batman book, I was pretty fatigued on all this. So I'm like, damn, and now we're doing a Joker war.
Joker. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing I kind of like about this story, because Joker wasn't not this story, Batman 92, because Joker wasn't in the book at all.
Yeah.
Even though his presence was felt, but the main villain of the book was Riddler, and you had Penguin. It was concentrating on everybody else. And that's the thing. Sometimes the Joker can overshadow a book.
I just read, like, since comics started coming out again, they released the new issue of Detective Comics. Mm-hmm. That whole thing with Two-Face and the Church of Two or whatever. His whole thing, that cult, that Two-Face cult, which I thought was pretty cool. But then it turns out the Joker's behind everything.
Oh my
and I'm
God.
like, really?
You don't have to put
because it's tying into this Joker war, and I'm like,
oh, so the Joker war is gonna be like this. So it's not just gonna be a Batman book. It's gonna be like this crossover.
It's gonna be in Nightwing. It's gonna be in fucking
shit.
you know Red Hood and all that shit.
Oh damn!
Yeah.
Why you tell me this shit?
Comics, new shit back, new shit.
Oh, welcome back to New Comics Day.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Oh shit! What else you got?
Oh, I guess the last book I can do is that Something is Killing the Children, number 7. Is that what it is? Crap,
Okay.
Let me get out of here.
Sorry, I don't have a fancy banner for you on that one.
I kind of creeped this one up on you. Is it number 7? Yeah, number 7. So
still something fancy, so I'll throw some bitter root behind you.
Well, I'll just bring the cover up. So this is also written by James Tynion IV.
Oh, really? That guy's everywhere.
Yeah, just a straight up horror book. These monsters are eating kids. There's this monster slayer that shows up, and to fight the monsters, we are now in the second arc of this series, and we are finding out where the monster slayer came from. That she's part of this underground Illuminati group of monster killers, and she's kind of gone rogue. So in this new issue, her mentor comes and basically tells her that, you know, she's got to cut the shit. Basically, Professor X comes and, hey, you guys got to behave. You know, it's that. That's what happens. She's killing these. It turns out that the monster that she killed had babies, and they've escaped, and they're running around the forest, and she's going after the little baby monsters. And her mentor shows up and says, hey, you're kind of fucking up. You can't be doing this. We got to blah, 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 and all that shit. So it's still cool. Like I said, it's a horror book. I'm really digging in it. I'm still on this story. I think it's really cool. Gory as hell. Very creepy too. Art is very, very gritty and visceral. And it really gets into the townspeople, like the small town and how it affects the town. You're seeing how the tragedy affects all these different characters and stuff. So that sort of effects of what the monsters are doing to these kids. I mean, you're seeing the parents grieving and all that stuff. So some pretty, pretty powerful stuff, as far as like an emotional depth to this series. It's not just blood and guts. So, so Something is Killing the Children. I give it a 4 out of 5. They haven't lost me yet. So that's all I got.
Okay. Well, like I said, we hit New Comics Book Day running. So we ran through all the books we could. There were some other books, going through there. Eli, I think not this week, but I think next week after that, I think like both DC and Marvel are taking a bye week. So I don't know what's going on. I
thought next week is the Death Metal, Dark Knight's Death Metal. Is that coming out?
Is it next week? Okay. Because I know that was supposed to come out like in May.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think so. So if that is, we definitely gonna do dark Death Metal. Definitely gonna jump on that. Because I know you're gonna see some things. Yeah, because I know you're gonna see some things that I didn't catch in there. So we definitely got to talk about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You listen this long, definitely like, share, subscribe. So what is that new podcast? Not the new podcast. Oh God, Gomer's podcast is back. Geeks and Comics. They finally decided to record again. AKA David is back on there. So I guess they're gonna be the new headline podcast for Outright Geekery, I guess now. Eli, did you ever get a chance to listen to Get Valiant's Bloodshot review?
Not all of it. I listened to about half of it. I was listening to it though.
I listened to the whole thing. All right. I'm gonna give a critique on their critique. Here's the thing, Eli. I hate when super fans review movies. The reason I hate that because they only knock the movie for what the movie did, differentiated from the comic. So, the comic did this. The movie didn't do that. I'm knocking the movie. Like, no, don't do that. Sometimes you have to change the things. Something had to, maybe his name should have been Ray Garrison. Maybe his name should have been blah, blah, blah. Who cares? This is things that super fans catch. We don't.
He was bald. He could have used some hair.
Like little shit like that, man. They talk for 20 minutes on shit like that. Like, come on, man. Can you talk about the movie at least? So that's one thing about that. What else we got? Shell, wrestling. I think we still have a Wrestling Counts podcast. So even though Boogie shut down Common Cast, he's still doing a wrestling podcast with like fucking 8 people was on that shit tonight talking about something. Something big happened tonight.
Oh, wasn't there was the WrestleMania or Wrestle something tonight?
Oh, well, I guess so.
There was a Wrestle something, yeah.
So something
SmackDown or not SmackDown, like SummerSlam or some shit.
Yeah. We're not the WWE bullies, so yeah,
No.
go listen to that shit over there. I'm pretty sure they'll break down whatever the hell's going on. Hell, I think that's it. We need some more podcasts. Oh, Geek's Ass.
Yeah, I gotta do another one. We've been sloughing off, lately because it's been crazy here in the Twin Cities. So
Oh, I know, with riots and shit and y'all.
But then I also have, I got this one, of course, and then I do the Riddle of Steel, which is it's me, Ogar, who's on Get Valiant, Logos, and we all talk about Conan the Barbarian.
Did you do the Sumerian?
Not
new
just
one?
that new book. No,
Yeah.
No.
Really?
I didn't even know it was out because usually I thought Marvel had Conan. This is like some other. Is it Boom or Dynamite? Somebody else did some Conan book.
That makes sense because if Marvel owns the right to Conan, but maybe Sumerian is maybe not open source, but public domain, maybe I don't know,
because it was just called the Sumerian.
Yeah.
So
So maybe that's the case. I don't know. So yeah, I think that's all the podcasts we got. So yeah, definitely check us out next week. If new comic book days just keep rolling, we're just gonna knock out new comics and hopefully Death Metal hits, and Death Metal is gonna be a big thing. It's supposed to be the crisis thing that's supposed to hit. They're supposed to fix everything.
Yep, they're gonna
save DC.
Reboot the universe again.
Because it's due for another one. So
yeah, it's only been 2 years since the last one.
Right. Until then, this is Leroy.
This is Eli.
We talk to you guys next week. Same bullet time, same bullet channel.
Protest and growing national outcry continues over the death of George Floyd.
Last night, people protesting in Minneapolis escalated as demonstrators were lashed by tear gas and rubber bullets.
The main message here is that they want to see those officers involved.
They want to see those officers arrested.
Trade my 4x4 for a GC3, ain't no more freeless Steve. I gave him chance again, I even told him please. I find it crazy the police to shoot you and know that you dead but still tell you to freeze. Fucked up, I seen what I seen. I guess that mean hold him down if he say he can't breathe. It's too many mothers just grieving, they killing us for no reason. Been going on for too long to get even. Throw us in cages like dogs and hyenas. I went to court and they sent me to prison. My mama was crushed when they said I can't leave. First I was drunk, then I sobered up quick when I heard all that time that they gave to Talib. He got a life sentence plus. We just some products of our environment. How the fuck they gon' blame us? You can't fight fire with fire, I know, but at least we can turn up the flames on. Every color person ain't dumb, and all whites not racist. I be judging by the mind and heart, I ain't really in the face. Fuck up the way that we living is not getting better, you gotta know how to survive. Crazy, I had to tell all of my loved ones to carry a gun when they going outside. Stay in the mirror whenever you drive, overprotect, go crazy for mine. You gotta pay attention to the sign, seem like the blind following the blind. Thinking about everything that's going on, I boost security up in my home. I'm with my kind of, they right or they wrong. I call him now, he'll pick up the phone and it's 5 in the morning, he waking up on it. Tell him wherever I'm at, then they coming. I see blue lights, I get scared to start running. That shit be crazy, they supposed to protect us. Swords and handcuffs and arrest us. Why they go home at night, that shit messed up. Knowing we needed help, they neglect us. One of them who gon' make them respect us. I can see in your eye that you fed up. Fuck around, got my shot, I won't let up. They know that we a problem together. They know that we can storm anywhere. It's bigger than black and white. It's a problem with the whole way of life. Can't change overnight. But we gotta start somewhere, might as well go ahead, start here. We done had a hell of a year, I'ma make it count while I'm here. God is the only man I fear. Fuck it, I'm going on the front line, he gon' bust your ass if you come past that gun line. You know when the storm go away, then the sunshine. You gotta put your head in the game when it's crunch time. I want all my sons to grow up to be monsters, I want all my daughters to show out in public. Seem like we losing our country, but we gotta stand up for something, so this what it comes to. Every video I see on my conscience, I got power now, I gotta say something. Corrupted police been the problem where I'm from, but I'd be lying if I said it was all of them. I ain't do this for the trend, I don't follow them. Altercations with the law had a lot of them. People speaking for the people, I'm proud of them. Stick together, we can get it up out of them. I can't lie like I don't rap about killing and dope, but I'm telling my youngest to vote. I did what I did cause I didn't have no choice and no hope. I was forced to just jump in and go. This bullshit is all that we know, but it's time for a change. Got time to be serious, no time for no games. Ain't taking no more, let us go for them chains. God bless they soul, every one of them names. It's bigger than black and white. It's a problem with the whole way of life. It can't change overnight. But we gotta start somewhere, might as well go ahead, start here. We done had us the killers, then shooting protesters with these rubber bullets. They regular people, I know that they feel us. These scars too deep, they heal us. What happened to COVID? Nobody remember, it ain't making sense. I'm just here to vent. It happened to one of your people, it's different. We get it, the system is wicked, just learn how to pick it. Knowledge is power, I swear I'm a witness. I know that I'm gifted, I won't go too deep, cause I'm scared they'll get me. Ain't scared to admit it, some shit I can't mention. It's people who can. Well, here's the chance, I won't take the stand, but I'll take a stand for what I believe. Must not be breathing the air that I breathe. You know that the way that I bleed, you can bleed. I never been a fan of police, but my neighborhood know I try to keep peace, so it's only right that I get in the streets. March for a reason, I just on GP. How people die for us to be free. Fuck do you mean? This was a dream. Now we got the power that we need to have. They don't want us with it, and that's why they mad. Yeah. It's bigger than black and white. It's a problem with the whole way of life. It can't change overnight. But we gotta start somewhere. Might as well go ahead, start here. We done had a hell of a year. I'ma make it count while I'm here. God is the only man I fear. It's bigger than black and white. It's a problem with the whole way of life. It can't change overnight. But we gotta start somewhere. Might as well go ahead, start here. We done had a hell of a year. I'ma make it count while I'm here. God is the only man I fear.